Well, Hansel and Gretel is one of the greatest operas ever written and also one of the most popular. When Engelbert Humperdinck first wrote it, it's got a very interesting history. He originally wrote 4 folk songs for a puppet show that he and his sister put together at their home. It was a big success, and so then he kind of fleshed it out into a Singspiel, what we would call a piece of musical theater. Wrote about 16 tunes for that. Again, so popular that he decided to flesh it out into a full 3-act opera with incredible orchestrations. Now, Humperdinck was really a disciple of Wagner's, so when you listen to the orchestrations of Hansel and Gretel, which we think of as a children's story, the orchestrations are really Wagnerian in their scope. In fact, it's kind of a standing joke. You want Hansel and Gretel to look like children, but you want Gretel to sing like Brunhilde. What Humperdinck did is he beautifully wed elements of folk song and children's tunes into a story that was Wagnerian. It's a tricky piece because you have to have enormous voices, but you also have to tell a children's story. The other tricky thing about this production, we're actually doing it in German and in English. The conceit that we're using is that they are a German immigrant family. So they grew up singing these folk songs in German, so they're completely bilingual children. But it's wonderful to go back and forth from German to English so that the audience really feels what Humperdinck wrote, but then we also make the story completely topical to what we're presenting now. I think that's true of most fairy tales. The lesson that you learn is always a little bit difficult, but the joy of fairy tales is that you come out on the other side having learned something, and if anyone dies, it's always the bad person. And we hope that everybody comes out. It's a perfect introduction to opera. It's a perfect introduction to symphonic music. It's a great first trip to the theater.